The following is a fan-made review. Shakugan no Shana is the property of JC Staff, Tokyo Night Train, Madman Entertainment, Genion, MVM Films, Animax, MBS, TVA, TV Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa, Nakum, and Yashichiro Takahashi. Please support the official release.
Just when I thought I knew what the reality of the world was like. Guess not. Y'all, it's the Black Critic Guy. I'm here today to give you a review on the anime called Shakugan no Shana. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed watching this anime. Without further ado, let's get into the narration.
Shakugan no Shana begins with Yuji Sakai, an average high school student, living what he sees as a normal life. But one day, while walking home, this image of a normal life is changed abruptly. He witnesses strange occurrences like the sky changing color, people immobilized, some with blue flames burning within them. He also witnesses a huge baby sucking the flames of people into its mouth. Just as the baby was about to take Yuji, a girl with fiery red hair and blazing red eyes defeats it and saves Yuji. She explains to Yuji that she is a being called a flame haze, and that he himself wasn't what he thought he was. After a deep explanation, Yuji learns the truth of the world, and of the beings known as denizens who wish to take its existence. He teams up with the Flame Haze, who he names Shana, and the two work together to keep the balance of the world intact.
So I was requested by one of my subscribers by the name of 2Ukadi2, I'll put the name down here, to watch Shakugan no Shana. And while I was watching this anime, I got this weird distinction that the anime sort of reminded me of what the familiar of Zero would be if it crossed with how Rukia and Ichigo acted in Bleach. Put those things together, and here you have Shakugan no Shana. Now let's get into some of the pros. First of all, this had a very enticing story that dealt with the theme of existence. Now, to get a little further background on what this world is like, because it's really confusing at first. It took me like 3 episodes until I finally clicked on to what the world is about. So basically, there's the real world, and then there's the Crimson world. In the Crimson world, existence doesn't exist. And so the people that live in the Crimson world come to our world, known as denizens, who try to steal bits and pieces of existence so that they can, in fact, exist themselves. Now, I know it's a little confusing as I explain it, but that's the best way I can think of explaining this right now. But if you want to know more, just go watch the anime. It has 24 episodes to explain this plot to you. The characters, for the most part, were entertaining. Each one brought a new thing to the table, brought more entertainment, excitement, fight scenes, you name it, these characters did. What really surprised me was the superb voice acting, not only in the Japanese dub, but also in the English dub. I noticed that they really went all out in this, and I will say that they did a pretty good job. I did have a few problems with the voices. Sometimes they just didn't match, in my opinion, but that's my opinion about the voices, but for the most part, they did a really good job. The action scenes were enjoyable and intense to watch, mixed with some good animation. Now, this isn't like the best phenomenal animation, but for what it was using, especially in the action scenes, the animation stepped up, and the action scenes were pretty enjoyable to watch. And probably the biggest pro of this anime is the relationship between Shana and Yuji Sakai. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, I felt like this anime was a mixture of the familiar of Zero if Rukia and Bleach were the main characters, kind of. And by that, I mean, if you look at Rukia, you look at Luis, and you look at Ichigo, and you look at Luis's familiar, you notice some similarities between the characters in this show compared to those two shows. Now, the vibe that I got from Yuji and Shana's relationship is that of a mentor and an apprentice type relationship. And to see the relationship start off where Shana does not see Yuji as another person, she just sees him as another torch and all that stuff, and she doesn't see herself as anything but a flame haze. When Yuji explained to her, you're not just a flame haze, you're more than a flame haze, I could sense the connection right there. It was instant. Now, this is the difficult part. Now is the cons. And yes, I have a bunch. First thing was the lack of explanation of how people became torches. Now, she explains that they become torches because their existence was taken long ago, but how? Who took their existence? How was their existence taken? Stuff like that. They don't really dive into that too much. I really wish they could have expanded on the character of Yuji Sakai. I felt like they literally left him out a little bit, focusing more on Shana than on Yuji. Now, Yuji is a very fascinating character, and I would have loved to know a little more about him, what his daily life was like before he became a torch, and how he was before he was a torch. Like, we only know the torch side of Yuji Sakai. What about the human? What was the human like? How did his existence get taken? And one thing that really disturbed me in this anime was this incestuous siblings known as Sorath and Teriel. And it was just creepy to see them on the scene, like, kissing each other. Like, ugh! And my biggest con of this anime is the over-the-top high school melodrama bullshit. Like I mentioned in my Toradora review before, it's just pointless. We have this really cool action anime, you know, with a little romance thrown into the bit, which I like because most action animes negate the whole romance story. But this one had a romance. What really just thrown it way overboard was this over-the-top high school melodrama bullshit that could have just been wiped clean out. At least for the fact that make this melodrama comical. I mean, that's what most high school relationships are. They're supposed to be stupidly comical. But instead we get this over-the-top melodrama that we can see in soap operas any day of the week. And it was just like, fuck this. I mean, it got to the point where it was just annoying as shit, and I didn't want to watch this. Overall, though, Shakugan no Shana is an entertaining anime with fun characters to watch, great voice acting, and some good and decent action scenes. And for that, I will give this anime a 4 out of 5 stars. It's worth the watch, and they also have 2 sequels, so if you want to see more of the development, maybe my cons might be negated by the sequels, but go check those out too. I probably will check them out myself. Anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you not like the high school melodrama bullshit like me? Comment below and let me know. Anyway, I'm the Black Critic Guy, bridging the gap between movies and anime reviews. Till then, peace, YouTube.